Hello, and welcome to Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses, the podcast where you will discover all the latest and greatest digital marketing tools, tips, and strategies you will need to implement in order to stay ahead of your competition. If you are not getting the results you are looking for from your digital marketing efforts, this is the podcast for you. And now, here's the host of our show, the local business guy himself, Frank Deming.
Hello, everyone. This is Frank Deming, the local business guy, and welcome to another episode of Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day, everybody. Hope you guys are having a great week thus far. And hope you're out there kicking major booty in your businesses and actually implementing the stuff that we talk about on the show, because action, without action, nothing ever happens. And with that, I'm going to talk to you about something that's very important that you definitely have to take action for some things to happen. And you also have to have patience. But before we get into that, I just want to remind you guys that if you want to be a guest on my show, send us an email at info@lbmsllc.com. And if there's a topic that you want to discuss on it, just fill out the intake form and we will schedule you to be a guest on the show. Again, it does not have to be digital marketing related. We'll interview you and if whatever you want to talk about. Maybe you need help on something and you want to be interviewed and have put me on the spot so I can help you right on the show live. Anything you want to talk about, just give us a call or send us an email, info@lbmsllc.com. Another topic I want to discuss, some housekeeping topics here before actually getting into the topic at hand, is that if you need help with any of your digital marketing, sometimes it really has to do with your personal, with your online presence. So head on over to my website, and when you see there's a slider that comes up, and you can receive a free personalized online presence report. Just click on the link where it says receive personalized online presence report. It's going to take you to a page. Just fill out the information on that page. And within 24 hours, my team will email you a personalized online presence report. That way you see what's going on in your business. Not only that, it will actually help you discern if you're out there working on any kind of marketing, whether you're doing online marketing, when you're doing some lead generations or what have you, will pinpoint where you need help in. So powerful stuff, and it's all free for you as a personalized online presence report. Head on over to lbmsllc.com and just click on the button off the slider and you will get to the report that I'm talking to you about. Okay. That report is going to be very important for you, especially what we're going to be talking about today. Today, we're going to be talking about 9 ways to optimize your website to improve your search engine ranking. So SEO is a very important topic. It's near and dear to my heart. If you remember my story of how I got into the business, I didn't build my business with SEO. I built my business with Google AdWords. However, when I started to really gain traction and really start quote unquote dominating the market, is when I started to implement SEO strategies. So it's a very important element to your digital marketing that a lot of people kind of leave to the side, because it's not the most exciting topic in the world, number one, because of all the stuff you got to do to get it right. And it's not the easiest thing either. like the lead generation stuff, Google AdWords, Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, etc., etc., etc. It's very technically inclined. You have to be very technical to understand how the AI works, to understand how to maneuver your audiences, etc., etc. But with SEO, it's almost as if you gotta have an engineering degree to understand it sometimes, because it can get a little frustrating as you start to build momentum, and then the Google gods, if you will change the algorithm, and then all of a sudden everything that was working is no longer working. So it's kind of frustrating. It really is. I'm not going to lie. It's not the easiest thing in the world. However, there are some things that you have to do to make sure that your website is ranking, at least to improve your ranking. And that's what I want to talk about, those 9 things right now. Okay, I want to get you off to the right. I want to get you off on the right foot, because as I said, when I started really gaining traction in my business is when I started implementing SEO. Although I was still doing pretty well with pay-per-click. Remember, you have to pay for each click. And that can get expensive after a while. And, don't get me wrong, Google also changes the algorithm on PPC as well. So it's not like none of the stuff is set and forget. So that's the first thing. The first rule of thumb in digital marketing in general: nothing is set and forget. Okay. You have to always be on top of this stuff. If you're not, you could be king for a few months and then all of a sudden you drop off. Why? Because you thought it was set and forget. Anywho, so let's dive right in here to these 9 ways to optimize your website for improved search rankings. The number one thing that you have to do, and I'm going to this is like beating a dead horse, because I talk about this a lot. And anything what I do with any type of marketing, digital marketing practices, I talk about this number one. And this is why it's number one. I talk about this number one topic all the time, and that's research your keywords. Again, this is not a set and forget thing. So just because you researched your keywords 2 years ago doesn't mean they're still the good keywords today. Okay, it's gonna change unless the only thing you do is one thing, which is odd. I mean, there's no business that just does one thing. Even the other day I was talking to a divorce attorney, and he goes, "Oh, he just wanted to rank for divorces." And that's fine, but there's so many different ways to get to that. And I showed him, all of my research of, these are keywords too that can get to lead to divorce. When someone's typing this, it's going to lead to divorce. So if you just rank on divorce, you're really not helping yourself. So anyway, so keyword research is the number one thing that you have to do all the time. It changes so often, and it really depends on the industry too. But it changes so often, I would say make sure you scrub your keywords once a year, okay? Once a year. Take a look at it. Make sure there's still good keywords to rank for. And throw out some of the old ones that are not ranking anymore and bring in some new ones. That's all you got to do. Rinse and repeat. It's a crucial part of SEO, okay? That's crucial. You have to use the right keywords. And one of the best ways to find the right keywords is to figure out what your potential customers are searching for. That's the most important thing. So they got a plethora of tools out there, as Uber suggests. Even the cool thing about it too, nowadays you don't even have to invest in a tool. Right now, you can actually go. Uber suggests is also free, but you can actually go on Google search bar, start typing stuff, and they're gonna give you some suggestions right there, right from the auto complete text. That's giving you a suggestion that people are typing this in your area. So that's a little bit of a ninja trick that I've told people to start doing. And it gives you good results. There are some. Okay, let me. The paid tools are best. If you've got some extra money, let's get together on the phone let's and I'll suggest, based on your industry and where you are and everything, I'll suggest some of the paid tools that's going to do it. But for this instance right now, since I don't know who's on the other side of this microphone, who's listening, go the free route, and you're going to get some pretty decent keywords to work with. Okay. And that's very, very, very important. And again, like I said, you want to do this at least once a year, if not more often. To be honest with you, I do it every 6 months. But my niche is very competitive, so I have to. So it depends on how competitive your niche is, but at least every 1 year, every 12 months. Okay, so now number 2 is you want to consider the long tail keywords. Now, as you're looking for keywords in number 1, don't forget to consider those long tail keywords. These will have a kind of a higher chance of conversion as they are more specific. Okay, so as after all of this, it's going to help your chances of selling your services, because the longer the tail, the more specific it is, you're going to see less competition. You want to get a sweet spot of the way the long tail keywords game works. The sweet spot is the competitiveness of it and the search volume. So these tools are going to, like Uber Suggest, will tell you how many searches per month. So you want to get, if you can get anywhere between, it depends. If you're a local business, which most of you people who listen to me are, you want to be anywhere in the range of 50 to 100 searches per month. And your competition, if you use Uber Suggest, your competition should be, you should have a green marking next to it. So, whatever number that gives you doesn't matter as long as it's green. If it's yellow, it's moderate, but if it's green, that means you're good to go. You would go with that long tail keyword using that tool. Okay, so when you go with just a regular keyword research, you can use the Uber Suggest, and you can also use, like I said, in the Google bar, it's going to give you some suggestions. But if you want to use long tail keywords, I would suggest just go to Uber Suggest. Spend time with this, guys. This is very important. Like I said, it's only once a year. Every 12 months you're going to do this. Just make sure that there's still good keywords out there for you and that you can still rank for them and you can still dominate. Okay, good. So number 3, you want to optimize SEO on the page. So here's what I mean. You have to continue doing on-page SEO things. So when you change your keywords, you got to make sure you change your headings, your titles, your meta descriptions. You want to create like some kind of catchy titles with about 60 characters. So the title tags underneath the actual search bar. You want to use header tags. You want to use meta tags. You want to use the keywords on the file names of the photos. Okay. These are all on-page SEO practices that must happen for you to be picked up by the search engines. Okay. And again, this is, if you don't change it, if you do your keyword research and you notice that your keywords are still rocking it, then you don't have to do it for those keywords. But for the ones that have dipped down a little bit and you want to replace them with something else, this is what you have to do. Okay, so number 4, you want to look at technical SEO. So while you probably should definitely create great content for your website, you don't want to do so while neglecting what I call technical SEO. So what I'm referring to is you want to optimize your website structure to ensure that the Google crawlers or any search crawlers index your site properly. So here's what I mean. You want your website to load quickly. Number one, that's number one. Number two, you want it to be well organized and secure. Okay, so secure is big, especially for technical SEO. Secure is huge. Secure means you have to have an SSL certificate. I mean, Google has not even, they won't even index your page if you don't have an SSL certificate anymore. I mean, I remember they announced that back in, I think it was 2012. They said they weren't going to do it, and I guess they were very patient because they let people. I mean, up until like 2019 or 2018. 2018. I don't remember 2019, but I know up until 2018 at least, they were still ranking websites without the secure encryption. But I think sometime in 2019 they stopped. So they don't rank you if you don't have the SSL certificate. So you might as well just get it. So you want to update your encryption and your security protocol. That's the SSL. You want to optimize the page speed. Very important. If you have a website with heavy images, optimize those images. Make sure that they're not loading fully. So the speed goes a lot better. You want to structure your website data. Make sure that the schema is marked up correctly. You want to create your sitemap, okay, and then submit that sitemap to Google. So by doing that, so you have a sitemap somewhere in your index file in your website. Then you submit that to Google. So that way, anytime Google crawls your website, it already has the sitemap. So think of it like this. If someone says, hey, Frank, hey, Frank, I'm okay. Hey, listener, I want you to, let's assume this is a world without GPSs. Let's just assume. And someone invites you to a party and says, hey, I want you to go to the party. And here's the address. And you have to make it a point to find out how to get there, So, okay, they gave you the address. So now you got to go out and, okay, I think I could go make a left here, make a right there, and this and that. Or let's just say back in the MapQuest days, let's just assume that they go, hey, listener, I want you to go to this party, but they give you also the directions of how to get there. So that's what, when you have a sitemap on your website and you submit it to Google, that's essentially what you're doing. Okay. So that's the importance of that. And that's also going to help you optimize your page speed so you don't get penalized. You want to optimize images. You want to have alt text on the images. Very important. You want to prune down old websites without much traffic. Okay. So what that means is if you're getting backlinks from, say, old websites that don't have much traffic, you want to prune that down. Okay. Very important. You want to check for broken or old links, and then you want to fix them. Very, very important. Google does not like to go to your website, crawl your website, and find that there are broken links. It penalizes you for that. Again, like I said before I started, all of this is easily, because people say, well, Frank, how do I find this out? You know how you find it out? Go on my website, lbmsllc.com. Go to the first page. It has a button there on one of the sliders, and just request a free online presence report. It's going to give you all of this stuff to tell you if you have any of these things in the first place. Because if you don't have it, then you don't have to worry about it. But finding out is real simple. It's just go there and you'll get it. And then the other thing that you want to do, and as part of technical SEO, is you want to make sure that your website is optimized for mobile. Now, everyone is mobile. Everyone has a mobile-ready website now, so that's not what I mean. Optimized for mobile. You want to, again, the report's going to tell you if you're optimized for mobile. Optimized for mobile is that your load speed is the same and all that kind of stuff. As a matter of fact, we always build websites for mobile first, and then we do it for desktop, because the traffic that's coming in is mainly coming in via mobile. So it's amazing. It's totally amazing. So we make sure that we optimize for mobile first. So you want to make sure that your website is optimized for mobile. Okay. So if you can't handle none of that yourself, because it's a lot, okay, hire somebody. Plain and simple. Hire somebody. It's not worth trying to figure this out. It's not, again, SEO is one of those topics that's not easy. But when you get it right, you're going to love that you did it because of all of the rewards you get from it, from all the traffic you get. All right, so number 5, you want to prioritize local SEO. So you guys are small businesses just like us, right? You likely don't have the resources to basically compete on a national or global level, right? So this is fine. So most of the third mobile searches include the phrase near me. So most of them include near me or something else to make it local. Okay. So this is fine. If you want to prioritize local searches. So by focusing on the local searches and prioritizing on that, you will have a less competition, and you can target people who are looking for you specifically. So for instance, you want to use Google My Business. Don't sleep on this thing. This is pretty cool. Okay, it's very, very, very good. Your first step for local SEO is that you should set up your Google My Business profile. If you haven't done so already, and most of my listeners have, but in case you haven't, you want to set it up, and then you want to fill out as much information as possible to include, your local address and all that stuff. And not only that, you then want to look at other listings, okay, for local. So Google My Business is great. Once you're there, that's the first step, okay? But they have a plethora of, they have at least, I always recommend 70, but they have a lot more than that. But if you are in at least 70 local directories, including your Google My Business, that, oh my God, that does wonders for your business. I mean, absolute wonders. So you don't want to miss that out. So it starts with Google My Business, then it goes to the other listings. I mean, it's a whole list of them to go out. Again, reach out to us, 888-416-7752. We can, really sit down with your business and help you, walk you through what that is. I mean, I don't have time to do that right now on this show, else we'll be here forever. But once you have that, you match it accurately with your Google My Business, and then that's one way of making sure that your local SEO is good. And another thing you want to do is you want to encourage reviews. So having reviews is going to make a big difference on your local SEO. And there are ways to distribute these reviews from your Google My Business to these local listings that I was talking to you about. So that's why if they see you on local listings, and they don't see you on your Google My Business, for instance, for example, then they will be able to still find you. So that's the important thing. That's the very, very, very important thing. So number 6 is you want to create more content. Content is king. I say this a lot. I know I found like a broken record a lot, but you want to have a blog on your page with useful information. You want to distribute that content on social media. You want to keep doing that, because what happens is every time you change or you add content to your website, to your blog, it's refreshing your website. It's telling the Google gods that, oh, this guy's got an active website. So that's very, very important. So create more content. Okay. That's number 6. Now, before I go on to number 7, another good practice to do for creating more content is consider creating videos as the content. And I know a lot of people are freaked out by videos. But there are a plethora of ways of being on video, of creating videos without you being on camera. You could just have a screen share. If you want to do a demo, that's content that you can distribute. And it still gives the business of, some visual aids as to, I'm sorry, not visual aids. It still gives the business, oh, this guy is has a new page coming up, and then the crawlers will find it and index it right away, as long as you have your sitemap and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, as I'm speaking to you, you have to consider this as well, because it's video is just pop. It's just powerful. I should do an article. I should do an episode just on that, because it's really good. So consider that. Okay. 7 is you want to create landing pages. See, landing pages can be very useful part of SEO strategy for businesses of any size, really, not just small businesses, but any size. You can use them, in various ways, like so many different ways. You can make a separate landing page for, say, mobile users. That's pretty cool. So more popular options to include your landing pages for specific cities or towns in the area of the specific service that you offer. So let's just say, let's say you have a geo-targeted focus keyword for, decks, right? Let's say you're a home improvement guy, and you do decks, but you only do decks in a certain part of town. So you create a landing page just for that service, in that town. And so you're just going to get indexed in. And now you have to have the right content. You have to have the right keyword structure and all that kind of stuff. And a lot goes into it, but this is a really, really, really great way of getting almost instant gratification off of SEO. All right. So really, really consider that. Number 8, you want to share your content. I talked about this a little bit before, but you want to be able to distribute your content via social media, or any other place. Maybe you want to speak, so for instance, I've always given you guys an offer to come on my show and be interviewed by me. That's a way of distributing your content, right? You want to share it on social media. It's another way. You want to put it on YouTube. It's another way, which is kind of social media and search engine at the same time. But these are all ways of getting your SEO really, really honed in, is, because you're going to be talking about something that has those keywords in there. And last but not least, this is what SEO is all about. Without this, you're doing nothing. But last but not least is you want to gain backlinks. Your SEO strategy should also always include getting links back to your website. Okay? Because Google and all the search engines really they view sites with more backlinks as a higher quality site. So as long as the backlinks that you're getting to your website are relevant backlinks, in other words, if you're a plumber, make sure you get from a publication that talks about plumbing a backlink from there. If you're a plumber, you don't want a backlink from a publication that talks about IT. That's not good. That's not a good link. So yeah, you want to gain backlinks, but you want to gain relevant backlinks. That's the real key to the success of a SEO campaign. All right, so real quick, I want to recap the 9. I want to recap the 9 ways to optimize your website for improving your SEO rankings. Okay, number 1, you want to research your keywords. Very, very, very important. And you want to do this once a year. Okay. I do it twice a year because I'm very competitive. So if you're in a competitive niche, do it twice a year. Number 2, you want to consider long tail keywords while you're doing this. Because although long tail keywords don't get as much traffic as just the regular keywords, but they're usually more relevant traffic, and you can usually get a super targeted lead off of those long tails. So consider that. 3, you want to optimize SEO on page stuff. We talked about that already, the tags and all that. You want to look, number 4, you want to look at technical SEO. This is so key, guys. The technical SEO piece is so key. That is, in my opinion, outside of the keywords, this is probably one of the most important pieces, because you just got to be right. Because if you do all this work and you don't have the technical piece right, you're shot. You did nothing. 5, you want to prioritize your local SEO. Very important, especially if you're a small business. Okay, you want to prioritize on that. Okay, make sure that your Google My Business is on point, and then that you gain traction from the other listings. And we talked about that already. If you have problems with that, look us up and we'll hook you up. Okay. Number 6, you want to create more content. Content is king. I've talked about that ad nauseum on other episodes. Just know that content is king. Create content. Consider, while you're creating content, by the way, consider video content. Very important. Video is, man, it's just kicking butt. 7, create landing pages, specific landing pages for services, for specific areas. Awesome way. That's an awesome strategy to optimize. I mean, this is killer, guys. Killer. Okay. 8, you want to share your content. Distribute that thing all over social media. Distribute it everywhere. Come on my show. Talk about it. Use your content. And number 9, the Mac Daddy of them all. You want to gain backlinks. Not just gain backlinks. You want to gain relevant backlinks. It's a little bit of a skill. It's a little bit of a hustle. But once you gain those backlinks, guys, you're going to love it. So with that, folks, I'm going to leave you with today's episode. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you learned about a lot of stuff. But last but not least, I hope you implement. Because when you implement, guys, 3, 4, maybe even less, depending on how competitive your thing is. Maybe in the next month, you'll start seeing traction. So with that, folks, until next week, this has been Frank Deming, the local business guy, and I will see you guys next week. Take care, and bye for now. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses, the podcast where you will discover all the latest and greatest digital marketing tools, tips, and strategies you will need to implement in order to stay ahead of your competition. Don't forget, any links that were mentioned during the broadcast will be available to you in the show notes, so be sure to grab them while you have the chance. Incidentally, if you have any topics that you would like for us to discuss on the show, be sure to send an email to the email provided in the show notes, or click the Contact Us link and let us know what topic you would like us to help you with, and we'll be sure to add it to our schedule. If you would like for Frank and his team to look at your digital marketing presence and give you a free evaluation, simply click the Request a Free Consultation link in the show notes to get a hold of them. That being said, until our next episode, make it a successful digital marketing day. Peace out.